Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast. Today's a nice and simple one. I'm solo because Jack has finally come to sense and he's done a runner from me. And essentially, I just wanted to talk you through my favourite Detroit Become Human scene. I think it's personally the best one. Funny enough, I looked at a Reddit post the other day. Now, this Reddit post is from Komiker3000 here, and as you can see, he's ranked all of the Detroit Become Human chapters. Now, my favourite chapters you'll see is from the Dead. Now, you know, I agree with a lot of what he says. Public Enemy, Crossroads, Battle for Detroit, really strong chapters. Meet Kamsky, I like all that. He's put my boy down in 30th. Now, I'm not happy with that. Now, his reasoning is, has an epic ending, but is a real pain to play. In my second and third playthrough, I pressed Alt F4 when this chapter came up, because I thought most other activities are less boring than this chapter. Now, I completely disagree with that. Now, I know this isn't the most action-packed scene in the game. However, I don't know why I really love it, and I'm hoping any of you could back me up here and defend this scene with me. I think as well, one of the main things we need to look at is, if you ask anyone who your favourite Detroit Become Human character is, you know, 9 times out of 10, I reckon they would say Connor. Kara, you know, lags a little bit behind, but I see a lot of people say Kara. But Markus, only 14%. The least favourite out of the three, so Markus just isn't as favoured as the other ones. And I think that's rightfully so. It's definitely the same opinion that I share. Now, one thing I love about this chapter is that Markus's whole story was a little tedious. However, this was the real chapter that really kickstarted his story. He wasn't, you know, this really well-nourished, looked after android from, you know, Carl, who was like the one human who's like refreshing towards androids. We'll be looking at this footage. I'm using basic and casual. So, yeah, thank you very much for sharing this. Already I love this because from the previous chapter we didn't know what the hell was going to happen to Markus. It just got left with him and Leo and he just got shot, and it's just crazy, and I think it shows you, it's such a powerful message about how discarded and disposable these androids really are. This guy was living in a mansion with a famous artist. His junkie son's gone and framed him. He gets shot by cops, and now he's just in a scrapyard. He wears these really nice clothes, he's well privileged, and now look at him. He's literally in a pile of like rain and mud and junk. I mean, Detroit Become Human's amazing at the visuals. Even in the menu, you see like the little codings in the background, and you can just tell here that like his data's corrupted. Everything's red, and you've got like the glitches and the lines everywhere. I just think that's fantastic. I love the fact that you've lost a lot of your stuff here, whether it's your processor, whether, yeah, it's your pump regulator there. There's just a lot of stuff going for it, and it's just incredible to see, because it's almost like you have to learn to walk for the first time again. So as we see here, you know, he's literally crawling for his legs. You know, like, Markus's first chapter, you are just walking normal, but this one, you are learning to live again, and it's so well done. And I love the use of the QuickTime events as well. You feel really sorry for him. He's so broken and bruised here, and he literally has no legs and you have to slot them in. It's just really well done, I thought. And the visuals are stunning. Jack and I talked a lot about how incredible it is, the variety of locations. They give us, say, this really neon-esque, beautiful looking, the Eden Club. Then they give us this like grotty little house where like Carlos has got 28 stab wounds. Then you've got this Zlatko mansion full of cobwebs that's really eerie. Then you've got Kamsky's mansion. It just throws a variety of beautiful and decrepit locations. And this is certainly kind of the darkest one to me. I'm the kind of person who thinks there's a lot of beauty in what's considered ugly and dark. And this is just a perfect example of that. You just sort of look at this disgusting, decrepit, muddy, wet-looking atmosphere that looks like, you know, you would definitely get an infection walking through it. So yeah, just really cool to see. And then you can finally walk again, and it's got horror elements as well. I mean, just look at this. This is one of the most stunning scenes to me. Him walking through the hand of, or the wall of hands even. I mean, it's just so well done. It's just so eerie, and you know what's going to happen. You know the hands are going to grab you. But that just reminds me of something out of, say, like Shaun of the Dead, or like any classic zombie film. It's just classic, and it's just so beautiful to look at. And this is incredible as well. It reminds me of what I once said was Toy Story, where you've got all the broken toys walking around without no purpose. They've all been beheaded. It's just so dark. Like, that robot there was crawling up the hill, and they're all just discarded. And what we have to think about is that these androids literally had a life at some point. That's dark as well, the fact that those robots were still moving. Like, they're not fully put out their misery. And that must be dark. They're literally just mutilated and mobilised and dumped. It's so, like, horrible to think about. The fact as well, he was literally looking at a carbon copy of his own kind. Like, that is the Markus model right there. So, he's probably kind of having all kinds of existential crises there. Thinking that he's not special because he's just one of many and he's easily replaced. I love that as well. You've got the blue eye and the green eye, and you know, Markus's kind of key thing is like the heterochromia. Like, that's one of his quirks, and it's just so beautiful. I just love the choice. It's not like a cool genetic feature that he was born with, but it's kind of like he's broken and this is what he used to fix himself, and that kind of like speaks volumes of Markus's story and the kind of like messages he represents and what he stands for. I like the fact that now he's got a new eye in, his vision is less broken and you can actually see the junkyard for what it is. And it looks stunning, but I like the fact that you have to earn your vision. And if you listen, his sound is corrupted. And in a minute we'll hear, when he puts his audio processor in, how the audio of the game changes. And that is one of my favourite touches of the chapter. I love that so much. It's that little moment of silence first. It's so Black Mirror-esque. You're just hearing glitches and all these like scratchy sounds, and then out of nowhere you've got like the rain and the thunder and the androids almost like pleading for help. It's so dark, but it's just so beautiful. I love this as well because this is the famous scene where Jack ended up sparing her, accidentally found her again, grabbed her, was like, oh no, I don't want to kill you, spared her again, and then he thought he was on borrowed time and then ended up killing her. So this poor girl was getting toyed with the emotions by Savage Jack only to get put out her misery anyway. So you actually can find an alternate pump regulator to save Markus, but as Jack said, he thought he was on borrowed time, and I thought that was so well done. It actually gives you a sense of jeopardy, especially because he found that bit first before the vision, I think, so his screen was going darker and darker, and it's just really cool how this scene can actually play with your emotions a little bit there as well. I like the fact as well, as you could see, the option to scans there. Now if you scan with a corrupt vision, it doesn't work, everything goes red, the lines are everywhere. Now he actually can, and that's just really cool how you unlock that ability as well.
I'm begging you, please. End it. I want to live anymore.
I mean, that itself is dark. Like, I think I actually put the android out of his misery. You know, I gave him his wish. It's so dark that that's the kind of level of, like, torment that is in this pit. And it's the kind of thing where as humans there's no humans here, you know? That's another beautiful thing about this scene. They're oblivious, or they don't care. This is literally kind of the back rooms, the junkyard of what people don't see and what they don't care about. Discarded androids. Now this bit is beautiful. So I think it was after Heavy Rain came out, there was that Kara trailer, and it was fantastic because you sort of see the actress Valerie Curry, who plays Kara, and she's in the trailer as this android being made in a trial, and as a part of the trial she has to speak different languages, kind of, you know, talk about her day or whatever it was, and one of the things is she's told to sing in Japanese. Eventually they find out she's corrupt, so she gets put to the side, and clearly it's such a cool Easter egg. This is her within the game, and this is fantastic because you can tell it's her because she's singing the same Japanese song, as you'll see now.
Okay, now sing something in Japanese.
Sakura, sakura, yayoi no sora wa. Sakura, sakura, yayoi.
It's so dark because I was sat there for like nearly a decade or however long it took to come out, wondering what had happened to that android, and this is the conclusion, you know, it wasn't a happy one. The slope is such a dark element for me because when you're all good to go, you've got to climb, and you know, it's like 300, you know, when there was the wall of dead bodies, and you see that, you know, these androids, they're all trying, but they're all broken because they're probably less fortunate than you were. That one's falling, he's not going to get up. But then there's you, and you literally have to crawl over the other broken androids to get where you need to. You're covered in mud, you're not in a pretty state. That one's got half a body. It's disgusting, it really is. And it really makes you hate these humans. I love the fact that you've got some challenging quick time events that, you know, really make you feel rewarded for getting to the top. And I love this finale scene here. It's very Shawshank Redemption-esque, right? Andy Dufresne, knees down in the rain, looking up. He's free.
My name is Markus.
It's such a cool jacket as well. Like, what a jacket to have to like represent you to go forward with the game. Yeah, and it's the fact there's this city in the background as well. Like, he's come out the slums with all this construction work here, and that's his target. He's going straight to it, and he's going to make a difference in this world. And who would have known that the android that revolts, that invades Stratford Tower and makes his speech and possibly makes a change on the world, was literally an android that came from these slums right here. Who would have thought that? And I just think it's beautiful. Yeah, like the flowchart shows here, it's not a big scene. It's very linear. You can't die, you know, you have to get up. But, you know, we don't need every scene to be filled with choices. We don't need every scene to be action-packed, you know, or fast-paced for that matter. So I think, you know, this scene does a very good job at kickstarting probably the worst character's storyline, as well as just being really beautiful and powerful in its message. So I think it's fantastic. So I mean, that was me talking about my favourite Detroit Become Human chapter, From the Dead. Let us know where you'd rank it. Is this a high tier chapter for you? Is it a mid one? Maybe, you know, this guy here, forgot his name, Komiker3000's right. Maybe I'm wrong. So let me know what you think, guys. What you thought of this chapter. It's been a pleasure talking about it because it's always a chapter that I've held dear in my heart. So yeah, let us know if there's any other chapters you want me to really decipher, whether it's this game or another one that we've covered in the past. So thank you very much, guys, for joining. My name's Liam, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now.